Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Shield. I'm your host, James David. Yeah, a lot's been going on with me since I did one of these videos last. I've been hiking, sorry that light's in the way. I've been hiking a bit more and I went up to London to see my sister as well as go to a dental appointment. What else have I been up to? Oh yeah, the drive there and back was okay, but the traffic was pretty bad, so we had to do lots of rat runs through the countryside to get back. And that actually brings up the topic of this episode, where I've been hiking a lot recently, and I've really been thinking about themes of adventure. Another thing is I've got a bit of sunburnt from when I've been hiking, so I look a bit dreadful. Suntan lotion helps, but doesn't provide absolute protection. Ooh. So yeah, I've been hiking a bit more, exploring. And for this episode, I wanted to talk about how adventure and hiking has sort of inspired some of my adventures for my comics. So, quite recently, I went up to London to visit my sister and have a dental checkup. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But on the way there and back, I got to pass lots of open fields and see a lot of the countryside, as well as pass through a few little hidden towns here and there. It got me thinking more about how in Tales of Stadendor and in my other D&D games, I never really put emphasis on themes of travelling and adventure. Most of the adventures were once the characters had arrived at a destination and then have to do battle with bandits or goblins or something like that, and it was never really, the journey wasn't emphasized that much. It's like that famous I don't know if anybody else has seen this, but there was a meme I saw where somebody said that D&D is like a 2-minute fight takes 2 hours, but a 900-mile journey takes 2 seconds. And I never really thought about that till I started playing it more. And then when I started thinking about how in Tales of Stadendor the characters will be traveling from A to B to C, I realized I needed to put more emphasis on the traveling as well as the journey, because as we all know the famous saying, the journey is just as important as the destination. I think that's the correct saying. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that's another thing I wanted to focus on. I've also been hiking a lot recently, and I did a few clips of that, which I'll be uploading in a moment. And it's helped me gather ideas for going on adventures and traveling and exploring unfamiliar places, and how it sort of how it's changed my opinion on adventuring. Hey everyone, it's your boy James David. Thought I would do another episode of Behind the Shield, but this time I'm out and about hiking, so I thought I would do this video while I'm off on my own adventure. See, even the birds approve of my recording while hiking. Hey everyone, decided to stop for a minute just to take in the scenery and also to have some water. Oh, it is very windy out here on the plains, or whatever we're supposed to say. Oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to take a backpack off with one hand. Easier said than done. Nice little view of the river, some of the surrounding area. We're quite a ways away from the town I started in. It's not even that far, considering. So I'm just trying to... I'm terrible at handling things. Hope you guys are all okay. Hope you're enjoying this nice weather, glorious weather this time of season, and another reason I love hiking during the summer. Hey guys, guess what? I made it. Oh, I made it to the coast. Well, to the shore, to the coast, whichever you want to call it. Hour and a bit walk all the way here. gonna go find a cafe and sit down for a bit and rest. There was a little town over yonder I had to walk through. It was okay, but I was walking by a lot of cars on the main road, so didn't really want to record that. But that is the English Channel, and on the other side is France. Vive la France. But no, I get to really enjoy my afternoon now, my back, depending on how I feel after my rest. I'm just going to take some little videos of me by the sea. And overall, this has actually been a really good trip and a great hike. I always wanted to do this a bit more and make it to the shore and to walk along the coast, and it's really great. I look better in the sun. My hair is still awful, but this has been a great video, and it's a great way to talk about my work as well as gain inspiration for Tales of Stadador. I always love the ideas of adventure and going on many adventures, you know. Now, that was a lot of fun to do. I wasn't able to record the whole journey, mostly because I wanted to record the journey back, but my phone died, and I was really frustrated about that. And after walking for about 2.5 hours each, well, 2.5 hours there and back, I just kind of came home, and I just wanted to rest for a little bit. And while I was resting, I wanted to do something, and I wanted to read something, and I kind of went back over some of my old books, and as I was looking through some of my old stuff, I found some of the books which one of my friends wrote. My friend wrote a book called A Study in Dust and Echoes. It's a book on poetry written by Mary Wills. They are a fantastic author because the poetry is really interesting and captivating. And I've never really been partial to poetry. I've never been really good at writing it as well. But I don't know, stuff like that I find really insightful. I'll put a link to their Amazon page at the bottom of this video if you're curious about it. And I also rediscovered another book written by my friend RMP Tacken Bloom. That's their pen name, by the way. They wrote a book called Night and Fae. This is more my thing because it's like a fantasy novel, but it's kind of like if magical creatures and magic was in modern society, but not hidden and more interwoven into everything we do. And it's very insightful, kind of how our society could have been completely different if magic was real. Once again, that's their book. I'll put a link to their Amazon page so you can get a copy yourself. I would really recommend it. My friend has done a really great novel here, and yeah, I guess I wanted to talk more about how writing fantasy it's a great escapism, but it can also hold a mirror up to our society as well, because I feel really stupid because I get like all these ideas in my head, but then I get tongue-tied, and it's like trying to push all the ideas out, and it just comes out in like a word vomit. Ooh, sorry about that. Technical difficulties and whatnot. But no, yeah, kind of finding work and writing fiction is hard because world building as a writer it's kind of it's an important skill to have, and it's not always valued or seen as important as much as the actual writing ability is. But for a compelling fantasy world, it can be quite instrumental in a way you don't think about until people start reading your work. I think D&D kind of helped me prepare for world building and creating complex characters as well as interesting settings. But I am I don't think I've mastered it, but I've got confidence in my world building, I think. I mean, at least that's what I think when I write my comic books and whatnot. I guess when I set out to do these videos, I wanted to promote my work a bit more and talk about other things I like doing, but I'm also glad that I can sort of talk more about myself and my thoughts and feelings regarding the creative process of my series. Now, I had I also had like a timetable and like a script of what to talk about in these videos, but I guess sometimes when I'm talking and thinking about it, I sort of then kind of get the idea of, well, why should I stick to the script? And maybe it's not such a good idea, but I'm more of a, I like to think of things as a stream of consciousness. So when I get to talking about my own work, I will deviate and then eventually give up on the train of thought, and then I'll just talk about whatever's on my mind. It hasn't always worked in the past, but I don't know. I think maybe for this channel it could work. Tell me if you guys like that or not. But yeah, I guess I also wanted to talk about my friends' work because it's always interesting to see people who are in the same field as you but doing different things, because sometimes when you've watched or read fantasy, either TV shows, films, or books, you'll think, oh, I never thought of it like that, or they can come up with really interesting ideas. I I used to read another book series, Redwall. It was like Lord of the Rings, but instead of with humans and elves and dwarves, it was with animals, like anthropomorphic animals. And I was looking back at it, I think that's actually quite a clever. It was always quite a clever fantasy thing, because I'd always seen it as like with elves and dwarves, like in Lord of the Rings. But then I started to read Redwall, and it really changed my idea of what fantasy could be as well. Ooh. Yeah, so that is my opinion on that. And I always try and think of like zingy one-liners to finish the episode on, but I think that maybe I shouldn't have a set catchphrase to finish it, aside from see you next time on, so and so. But yeah, I'll put the link to the videos at the bottom, and if you guys have if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the bell button, the notifications and whatnot. I have to remember for to tell I have to have that to remember to tell you guys, so that you'll do it, and then you'll get notified for more content from Tales of Statendor. And once again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time on Behind the Shield. Adios.